Hello, this is Time Warping Toad here, and today I'm going to be showing you a redstone alternative. It's not as common as most other redstone alternatives, but the lucky thing about this one is this one's easily resettable. And I've only seen one video online about this, and it's a good video. I don't remember who it was by, sadly, but yeah, and there's not too much known about this, sadly, but it's to spread it. It's resettable alternative redstone in Pocket Edition, Minecraft Pocket Edition. As you can see, I am actually not in the Pocket Edition currently, but that is not because it's not possible in Pocket Edition. It's just because I do not have a program to record in the Pocket Edition, and so I don't want to do like a terrible quality video. And audio is not even perfect, neither is video in this, but I mean, I don't even want to make it worse. So if anyone has any free programs for iOS without jailbreak that would allow for recording of the screen, please leave a comment. That would be greatly appreciated. So let's get on with it. So special about this is that, as I already said, it's resettable, unlike sand and the sand and signs and cacti alternative redstone, which is only used once, this is resettable. It does have downsides though. The downsides are that this cannot make sand fall, for example, but or at least I haven't figured out a way. I'm pretty sure the community can, but for example, it is completely resettable. So if you're making a gigantic calculator, which people have done in Pocket Edition, then this is probably your best route to go. So yeah, and yeah, so we need to go with some basics first, and I'm going to show you the logic gates next, but let's do the basics first because that's necessary to understand how it works. So if there's a minecart, if something pushes it, and it goes on a powered rail and it hits a transparent block, what it will do is it will stop at it. It will not go, it'll just stop. And so in this example, you just gotta keep hitting it yourself back and forth. However, if it's a solid block, for example iron, grassworks, dirt, anything like that, something you can't see through, I believe stuff like chests don't count, I don't remember, I will have to test that. And so, as you see, it on a solid block, it will just bounce. As long as there's a powered rail there, it will bounce. Oh, and another note about powered rails, in the Pocket Edition there are no redstone torches, so they are not necessary in Pocket Edition. All you have to do is put the rails down, and that's actually very convenient. A little bit less building, a little bit less redstone. And so they'll just keep bouncing for forever and they'll never stop. So you can put them in different ways and stuff, like this one right here. If you push it, it'll just bounce back and stop again. It'll bounce back and stop. And there's one other important thing, or I guess there's two, but there's also this important thing, is that if a minecart, even if it's a solid block, if it's not a powered rail, it will still stop until something hits it in either direction. Like this, it's still stopped, but let's say you have a sheep riding a minecart, it goes and it curves and it hits it. What it does in this instance is it's facing this way, and the sheep's hitbox interferes, so it bounces against it and it bounces backwards. And it has to be a sheep in this instance. I guess that has to do with weird hitbox stuff. I don't know how to do it. And it's quite simple to put sheep in minecarts. I didn't know this until actually quite recently. So you put that down. So you have to have a minecart, and then you got your sheep, and then you got to just push it into the sheep, and now it's in there. Baby sheep work too. And yeah, but baby sheep will still grow into adult sheep, just so you know. Yeah. And let's show the AND gate first. I guess it's first here. That was kind of not an intentional pun. So here we have two inputs. Input 1 right here, and input B right here. So input A, input B. So this right here is an output. And the output, there's a minecart. And if the minecart comes over here and hits it, then that's considered there is an output. And if nothing comes, then there's no output. But the only way to get an output on an AND gate is to have both this and this pushed. Both minecarts must be pushed. And again, this one must be a sheep. This is the only one that requires a sheep, and that's because of this right here is required. And I'm pretty sure there are, by the way, there are more compact ways to make all these gates. It's just, I was making them by idea, so I had to think about each thing I placed, so it wasn't the most compact thing in the world. But yes, this is way more compactable, and please do make it so. That's a challenge to the community, I guess. And so let's do A first, no output. Then you have to do B, and it's completely resettable all by itself. It just resets, and that's great. So let's do B. Then we do A. Goes, hits it backwards. There we go, we have an output, and I will explain how all these work at the end of the video. For now, it's a demonstration. And now let's do an OR gate. So here, right here, is an output. Here's our input A. Here's our input B. And the only way for this to work is if either, it doesn't matter actually, this is make sure just any of these are pushed. If none of them are pushed, see, no output. But we have to go and say, let's push this one. He pushes it and you do get an output. Or you can come over and push this one and you do get an output. Or let's see, push both of them. I'm not very good at that, but yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Even if they were to hit at the same time, it still would produce an output. So that's the OR gate. And again, that was completely resettable. So this is the NOT gate. It's a huge monstrosity. Probably much easier to compact is what I mean, because this one's not very compact. But basically, turning night again already. Okay, a second. Okay. And it shall now be turning daytime again. Okay, so this one works by, this is your start circuit. So this is a start circuit, and this is your input. So completely resettable again. And the only way you get an input, or I guess an output, this is your output. The only way you get an output is if you do not press the input, and then you press your start circuit. If you press your input, however, and then you press start circuit, there will be no output. And so let's just show that we can make an output, and let's just push it without pressing the input, so that we just started the circuit without putting it. Wait, I'm sorry, I messed that up myself earlier today. Here, there we go. Let's do this. Push it, and there we go. We do get an input or an output. And it is completely resettable. It does take a while, but that's just how it works, because it has to. Completely resettable, and you can use it over and over again, as long as you want, and it will not fail. It only failed because I accidentally touched it, which is a bad thing. But you know, when you're using a gate, you don't touch that, which I will explain how that works later. So now let's do our input. Yeah, wait. So now it goes. And we'll start the circuit. And because we pressed their input, there should be no output, and indeed no output. And so what if you're like, oh, I didn't, and you press it and you're like, wait, you know what, actually I don't want to press that input. All you have to do is wait for it to come back down. There you go. And press it again. And there we go. If we hit this, it will work. Great things, it's completely reusable and everything, completely resettable. You don't have to break anything. Resets itself completely with all of these. And as an added bonus, that if you accidentally press this, you can just press it again and it will reset. It's really great. And so yeah, let's go off and show how to make these, or I guess not how to make these, but how they work. And we're back again. Here's our AND gate right here, and we're going to explain how this one works. So, let's start it. Push just A. We don't get an output because it goes up here, hits this block, stops, and falls onto this minecart rail, this powered rail. And it doesn't know where to go. It doesn't have a direction thing, so it's just like, oh, I have no idea where I should be going right now, so just stay still. And it waits until you push this guy. And when you push this guy, the hitboxes interfere, and this thing comes over and pushes this guy as it moves over here, and pushes it, and this minecart uses this guy as kind of like a wall in a way, so it bounces himself off and goes back. As this guy is pushed this way, sets off this minecart, goes up and put itself. There's actually a very, very important thing right here. If this was, these glass blocks are necessary, and so is this turn. Otherwise, I just would have made it straight and had that closer. Because of, I don't know exactly why, but it doesn't matter if you have sheep or not, because of how hitboxes interfere with each other. This must have a glass block of some kind, and it must go off of a turn to do it. That's just how it works. That's how you set it off, like horizontally with something, which is kind of disappointing, but you know, it's just something you got to fit into your design. And let's do, if we were to do input B first, it's a little bit different, if you're wondering why those blocks over there were there. So it goes right here, and because this block, the rail that this minecart is currently on, is not a powered rail, even though it's a solid block, it stops, and it just stops. And it waits until press this guy. What this does is, since they're side by side, their hitboxes interfere with each other. That was the reason it didn't reset is because I walked in the way and I hit it. Yeah, that was completely my fault, not design error. Sorry. And so it goes and it falls, and because the hitboxes interfere, for some reason the sheep minecart goes this way. I'm not sure why, but it's not really a problem. So all I have to do is bounce it around. Actually, we need it to go this way because it bounces around, comes right back. This one's still here. Bounces around, hits it, and it bounces it towards that wall and bounces it back. And the sheep one goes and it sets it off again, and it drops in here and it's completely resettable. Okay, that's your AND gate right there. And here is the OR gate. The OR gate works quite simply, actually. Again, the turns are necessary because that glass thing, and yeah. And because you're hitting it horizontally. And basically it just goes and off the curve, goes and hits the minecart and sends the output. And bounces itself back off of one of these, and that's what it does. That one's really simple. And now let's do the NOT gate. It's kind of crazy. So this uses something called a minecart diverter. I don't know if y'all know about it yet, but basically what it means is that whenever you put a minecart on here, or a minecart goes and it drops, this right here will alternate which direction the minecart goes on this. It can go either right or left. So I set it up to when you first push it, it will take a left, and then what it does is it takes a left, does the curve thing, and it hits it because you didn't press your. We're not worrying about the input right now. I'll explain that later. Oops. And so you hit it without input. It goes this way. It hits that. You do have an output right there. So it comes up, and since it went to the oh my gosh, my typing skills are terrible. And there we go. I am sorry about that, guys. And so, as you're saying, it went around this way, it goes up, and it drops in the exact same place, just a little bit higher, which doesn't really matter. It's just so they don't, the tracks don't interfere. And since it went left last time, now it must go right. And it goes and it drops down and resets itself. And since it went right that time, if you were to hit it again, it would go left and just restart the circuit. And so what if you put your inputs? So what happens if you hit your input is it'll go on the other side of the minecart diverter, which still affects it. It'll go around here, and just go up and reset itself again. But basically what it does is it changes the direction this one right here will go, the start circuit will go when you hit it, so that once you hit it, it'll just go ahead and go right and never even bother to go over here and hit the output. And the reason that it's completely resettable by hitting this again twice is that if it comes and it drops, it'll first go around this and go this way. But if it were to drop again, it would again change the way that it would go, and instead of going this way, go around this way and just go right back onto the track. So you can do it again, and that is how this works. And I'm actually very proud of this NOT gate design. I designed all of these myself. Or I guess I did not design the OR gate myself, but the resettable and the completely resettable NOT gate I did design. And I cannot find actually anything online about these, so please tell me if you have before me about specifically the NOT and the AND gate. And yeah, I think I'm the first, but well, that's not really important. And please leave a like if you liked it, and please subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. And Time Warping Toad out.